every destination on becoming a performer is has a different route. But
Yeah.
based on the route that you've taken, do you have any advice on just like getting into the scene, or maybe even just like how to maintain yourself in that scene?
I mean, I feel like I'm a bad person to give advice because I've been really, really, really unlucky. You know, this business is really unfair, right? The thing is, for most people to get into the business, you have to have connection. You have to know someone who can, like some director, some whatever, right? And it's also a lot of being in the right place at the right time. On top of that, you still have to have talent. You still have to be able to act. But before all that, before you actually even start acting, you're already fighting. Or you're already pushing to get in. Like, personally, I was lucky because my dad's been a critic for 10 years. He's gotten all the connections that I needed. He was a big reason why I was able to start acting, because he just said to his friends, hey, my son wants to be an actor. Is anything happening out there? Is any auditions going on? And they put me out on one. And one of his director friends was talking about this movie. And again, it was right place, right time. Right? I went to the audition, and I did well. I for my first role, I was flown out to LA. My first audition, flown out to LA. It was between me and one other kid. And the only reason why I didn't get that role was because I didn't have enough experience. I hadn't done anything before that. So they're like, oh, we really love you, but we can't really choose you because you haven't acted before. And that was a shame, but right place, right time. They were like, you know what? But we're recently talking to some of our agent friends who are looking for someone. So why don't you go out and audition for them to be an agent? So I went out and I auditioned to be casted for them to be my agent, and I got it. And so after getting an agent, things became a lot easier. They started putting me out for roles.
I remember you saying earlier that this is one of your first times almost acting. Did you have an acting coach as well?
But I talk way too fast. And when I talk fast, I can't tell. It sounds like I'm talking really, really slow when I talk at a normal pace. And so every single director who's ever worked with me has always at one point in time said, Hudson, slow down. But yeah, I had an acting coach. He's a really great guy, and I still keep in touch with him. We go out to eat a lot. He's been with me since I was super young. He's probably one of the biggest influences on my acting career and my personal development. Yeah, his name is Mark Schwartz. Great guy. Eventually put me up fresh on the boat, and yeah. But I think my main tip is that even though this business is really unfair and it's really hard to get into, you just got to keep on trying. There always is a path. There's always one way in. Every door that closes in your face, there's another door open somewhere else.
And when I'm in New York, I'm auditioning for Broadway shows, but it's and I clearly haven't booked any yet, but it's every single time you go in for an audition, I feel like you learn something new, or just it preps you for the next one, right? Or that's what it sounds like you're saying. And I was I resonate very tough with that. I agree 1,000%. And you bring up a great point where it's yo, just because you didn't make it in one audition doesn't mean you're not going to make it. There's that famous saying where it's being an actor, you got to get used to being rejected, because if you're not in a show, you're only auditioning, and you're gonna get turned down by a lot of those auditions essentially.
One of my friends was talking how she got 1,000. She wanted 1,000 auditions just to get one role, and that one role started pushing her forward. But that happens. You can have thousands of doors closed in your face before you actually get into the business. But if that's what it takes, and if you're passionate about acting, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to push through it.
What are some changes you would like to see in the future of Hollywood, essentially, post COVID-19?
There's a lot that needs to be changed. One thing that I have been noticing is that Asian American representation has been increasing, and it's incredible. With all these new shows telling stories about Asian Americans, people are starting to realize, hey, Asian Americans are actually profitable. We can actually do more shows, do more of this and that. And it's not just Asian Americans. There's not enough representation for Latinos and just every other racial side. Everyone talks about, not enough Asian or Black representation on TV, but then we kind of forget about all the others. There was this one show that I love. I think it was called Cristela or something like that on ABC, and that was a great show, but it only made it past I think the second season, and that was a shame. I think I do advocate for Asian American representation even more so now today, but also I want to shout out we need more Latino representation and Mexican representation and Indian representation on TV in American culture. We have none of that. So just hoping for a change.